Okay, so I'm in my closet right now. I don't know what to choose. This is part two because I'm about to tell you another story that happened in my life that changed my life. Seriously. I had I have a brand, swimwear and athleisure. It first began as swimwear, and I was studying in fashion design in New York City. And I was studying fashion design in New York City. I had just graduated, and I went to Peru for a little bit. I think for like less than a year, and I had a friend who wanted to come back, so I came back with her because she was like, "What are you gonna do here?" I was actually really, really, really upset. Okay, so I have two things that I'm gonna share. One is one thing that I'm not proud of, and then it kind of led into the brand that I built. So the first thing is that I didn't want to do anything with fashion. Before you graduated, you had an opportunity to audition for the New York Fashion Week. Before I graduated, it was part of like the things you could do, you're able to do. And I didn't get picked. I swear I was on the top designers of my school. However, I didn't know how to speak. I had this deep fear of speaking in front of people, in front of big audiences. And the reason why I didn't get picked was because I couldn't public speak. I remember I had gotten ready. I built these beautiful dresses. They're not beautiful, but they're like very artistic. Nothing you would see anywhere. You wouldn't see the stuff that I made was like very artistic, super structured things that you wouldn't see in a clothing store, in a retail clothing store. So I did this two designs, and I had spent all my time building, like literally pattern making, sewing, and finding models because I wanted to make this huge presentation, because I wanted judges to see how it would feel like to have my models, my design in the fashion show. I was walking into the interview knowing that I was gonna get accepted. I got into the interview. I made these huge, beautiful pieces. I'm gonna see if I have photos. And when you get to talk about what you experience, you get to talk about like what was the inspiration behind this collection, what inspired you, what made you do this. Whenever you're in events, they make you talk. The media wants a story to be talked about. When it was my time to present my collection, I stood with my models right next to me, and I wasn't able to speak. It was so heartbreaking because they asked what's your collection about, and I froze. I didn't get ready. I didn't prepare myself. It's not about getting ready, but it's about rehearsing and just talking about what you just did. I was so afraid of speaking in public, and now that I do, um I enjoy it. But back then it was real fear for me. Yeah, and then once I didn't get picked because of that fear, it shifted my entire identity on fashion. Like, I didn't want to do anything with high fashion. I wanted, once I finished my associates in New York City, I wanted to go to London and continue my fashion studies. But that happened. I didn't continue. I was like, I'm done with this. So I was looking into building a brand and making women feel amazing in their own skin, because I loved swimming, I loved water, I loved being in the water, and I loved being inclusive. and loving all shapes, colors, and forms. That was my logo back then, being comfortable in your own skin. And now it's so normal, but back then, this was more than 10 years ago. Again, it was 19. I think I graduated school with like 20 20 years old, 21 tops. That's why I took the break to go to Peru, and I was like teaching kids how to swim, which was fine. It was okay, but that wasn't me. Like, yeah, I can be teaching kids how to swim, but that it was a good thing that I went back. And meanwhile, I was teaching kids how to swim. I I was also building my brand. I also was like looking where I labels where I could buy clothes and all of this manufacturing stuff that needs to get done. When I went back to New York, I was living alone and my mom was visiting, so we were at a family gathering. This family, not family member, but it was my mom's friend. He asked me, "Hey, like, I guess I was talking so passionately about what I wanted to do that he was like, so then what do you need?" And I told him, let me tell you the pitch. I did back then. I didn't even know that it was a pitch, but now that I see it and I remember it back, it was for sure a pitch. But I was talking so passionately about my project, about what I wanted to do, about building a brand that was inclusive, showing all shapes, colors, and form that that I guess it impressed him, and he asked me what I wanted to do. I told him I need money, and he's like, but how much do you need? And I didn't know what to answer, and I also called my dad for this, and I told him, hey dad, like what should I tell him? And yeah, he like guided me through that. I built a business plan and presented it to him, and that's how Signs started. Plans before, I was very ambitious, and because I wasn't able to talk in front of the public, something that right now you have to do, especially with social media. Like, people undermine it, but fear is a real thing. You have to get out of your comfort zone, otherwise you're going to stay too comfortable and not become nothing. So I am a lover for fear in doing things that I don't like doing sometimes. And I've done it. So this is another story that really, really shaped me and took me out of my comfort zone, because I had big plans and they took them down. I wouldn't be here. I would be in London talking like that.